Hi family! Welcome once again to SIMA'S Healthy Recipes, and I'm super excited to have you once again on my channel. So today we are preparing this authentic and delicious Ghana Waakye stew. Stay tuned as we prepare this sumptuous stew together. So for my proteins, I'll be using some goat meat, some beef intestines, some beef skin, and I'll also be needing some onions, some fresh tomato puree, tomato paste, garlic, fresh pepper, some ginger, and then my spices. I'm using some fennel seed, bay leaves, cloves, and then Calabash nutmeg. So in my blender, I'll put in my ginger together with my garlic, add in some pepper, and then my spices goes in. I'll blend this and then set aside. So in a pan, I'll put in my proteins. To that, I'll add some blended onions, and then I'll also add my ginger and pepper mixture together with my spices. I'm going to add in some complete seasoning, adobo seasoning, some beef and goat seasoning. Stir this, give it a touch of salt, and allow this to cook till it releases its own juices. So one thing about waakye stew is that you need a lot of onions, a lot of ginger, and then some pepper, and then your natural spices is a must to make your stew delicious. So at this point, my meat has released its own juices, and to that I'm going to add in some water so that my meat will be able to cook very well. So once the water goes in, I give it a good mix, cover it up, and then let it be completely done. So once our proteins are on fire, in a pan I'll put in some oil. This oil has been used to fry fish, and then I love the flavors infused in it. So that is what I'm going to use for my stew. To that I'll add in some bay leaves. My blended onions goes in, and once my blended onion goes in, I'm going to also add my blended ginger and then pepper together with my spices mix. Yes, as you can see, this is a different approach to making the stew. So once I've added my ginger mixture to my onions blend, I'll make sure that I stir this regularly so my onion and ginger mixture doesn't get burnt, because we are going to fry this till all the water has evaporated. And that is also another secret in preparing your waakye stew. You make sure to fry very well, and that even makes your stew nicer. So at this point, that is how our base is looking, and you can see most of the water has evaporated and it's looking so good. So at this point, I'm going to add in my tomato paste, give it a good mix, and then fry this for about 8 minutes. So once I've fried that for 8 minutes, I'm going to add in my fresh tomato puree. Take note that this fresh tomato puree has been cooked and then fried also for it to be completely done. But still, I'm going to fry both of the tomato paste and then the tomato puree for about 15 minutes. Yes. So now I'm checking up on my proteins, and you can see it's looking so good and it's done. You can just bite it right through it and you are good to go. It is so soft. So at this point you can fry your goat meat, but I love it just this way. It goes into the stew just like that. So it's been about 10 minutes and our stew is looking all good, but I want it to fry even more. So I'm going to give this about 8 minutes more. Yes, before I add anything else. So the 8 minutes is ready, and I am adding in my proteins together with a stock. So once the proteins goes in, I'm going to give this a good mix. and then I'll wash my proteins bowl, the one I used in cooking the proteins, and then add in the water to the stew for the stew to loosen up a little. I do this because I want the stew to fry very well. So once it's loosened up, I can put it on fire on a low heat for it to be done completely. So once I have added the water to loosen up the stew, I'm going to also add in my spices. So to this, I'm going to add in some star anise, cardamom spice, and then my beef and goat season. I'm also going to add in some fish powder. Give this a very good stir and then leave it on fire for it to do its own thing. Trust me, this Waakye stew is the best. It tastes so delicious. It's no different from the one you buy from the roadside. Trust me, this is original Hajia Waakye stew. You must give this a try. So now our stew has fried very beautifully, and it is almost done. As you can see, it looks so yummy. You can pair this stew with your rice, your spaghetti, anything you can mention of, even kenke or bango. So at this point, I added in the remaining of my proteins. If today is your first time stopping by, you are welcome to the Healthy Recipe family, and please do stay. You can prepare this recipe and give me a feedback in the comment section. See you in my next video, and always remember, the greatest wealth is health. Bye.